Remember the 5th of November. It's the day after the 4th of November. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. You'll have to pardon me, I have a cold today or something. My voice is starting to leave me, so I'm trying to get this and my offensive team video out at the same time. And so if you want to go check out the offense video, it's being released at the exact same time as this. You'll find a link in the video description, and I hope this helps you. 3v3 is a tricky thing to figure out and remember how to do after a full season of 5v5, so hopefully we can remember the counters, and we'll have a good time, folks. I'm going to be taking periodic coughing breaks, however, so that'll be fun for all of us. Let's get into these teams so I can go to bed. Now, we've got Jabba, and here's the thing about Jabba, guys. This is defensive teams. I don't know for sure if he's going to be the best on defense or offense. I mean, the thing is, he's already tough to deal with in 5v5. 3v3, I don't know what you kill Jabba with, unless it's like Lord Vader, or I don't know, maybe Kenobi does it. I'm not sure. So I think the best version of Jabba is going to probably be this one with Chrysanthemum and Boushh. However, he might be just good enough, especially with his new Datacrons. He might be good enough to get away with something like Jabba with Boba and Relic 5. You need Relic 5, remember, on Gamorrean Guard so that you can use his Datacron. And if that's the case, and if you already have Jabba, you're probably going to be invested in Datacrons, which is why I am talking about it here. But then you can build like the secondary team of like Boushh, Skando, and Chrysanthemum, which is also a pretty decent defensive team. So just something to keep in mind for you folks. Now remember, if you're frustrated that you don't have any of these teams on this list, I get that, I understand. I'm putting out a video for my alt with all the different comps my alt will be using tomorrow. Hopefully that will give you, it will elucidate some of my ideas and give you guys some ideas of your own. Without all the crazy stuff, my alt only has 2 GLs, so, you know, it'll be great. 2 GLs, we'll see what the big GL is. Now, we've got Lord Vader, and I think this is my favorite build for Lord Vader, if you're trying to counter them using bounty hunters, just because Grand Admiral Thrawn can just fracture someone, usually Beskar Mando, and then Maul will just go to town and kill the whole town. This works pretty well. Now, if you want to defend against Lord Supreme Leader Kylo, it might be a little bit different. You might want to bring Royal Guard into it to give Maul a little bit more time to be able to take people out. One way or another, I think that, you know, having a little more time against Kylo might be nice just to get Lord Vader ramped up. I still think General Skywalker with 5s and Rex is a good defensive team in 3v3, folks. And the reason for that is that there's still not a great counter to them that isn't a Galactic Legend. Sure, Galactic Legends beat them, but people are saying the Inquisitors beat them consistently. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true now with the cool new Datacron that people discovered and everything. But other than that, there's not much that beats this easily. And keep in mind, folks, that Grand Inquisitor with his 2 buddies last season had like a 25% win rate against this comp. So this is the best comp, 5s and Rex, because Rex gets to Rexecute eventually. It's pretty fun. Now, Shaak Ti, I realize this is not a 5v5 game, but I mean, this would be a pretty bad Shaak Ti squad anyways, but you probably want one of these 2 combos. A lot of people told me last 3v3 that they got a lot of holes with Echo and Tech. It's wonderful, except that you don't have Bad Batch available, which, I mean, Bad Batch is magic, even in 3v3 under Hunter lead. So the problem with it is Shaak Ti with Arc and Echo are... it's just not a good team on defense, really. Like, people have learned how to beat it, and they can, and it's not pretty. So just things to keep in mind, folks. The Shaak Ti with Echo and Tech, especially if you put a really tough defense around them, this team can do a lot of good work. Now, I don't know what to think about Bossk these days in 3v3. I've been splitting my my bounty hunters so that I could have a Fennec lead with Bam and Grief, which means that Bossk is just kind of out on his own. And so I like this as kind of a timeout team here. I mean, a lot of people will be able to fight to solve it, but you do so many debuffs across the way, and this team is so resilient, it can be very difficult to remove them. So if you wanted a little more offense, you could maybe take Dengar out and put, I don't know, Boba in, something like that. But one way or another, this team did get me a few holds last season. It's pretty nice. Let's see. Qui-Gon team. This is my what I think of as like my printing defensive wins team. This team, you have to make him crazy fast. Keep in mind, Ki-Adi gives himself plus 80 speed, so mine is 384 starting speed, and I just have to top that by Qui-Gon Jinn by a little bit. Let's see if I've done that. No, so I'm gonna need to recalibrate some of this. Oh, I think I actually made Ki-Adi a little faster by accident, but remember, Qui-Gon is plus 60 speed because of the Zeta on Ki-Adi, and Ki-Adi is plus 80 speed. I think I accidentally sped him up. Oops, that's interesting. The thing is, you want this whole team to be faster than your opponent's Echo on the Bad Batch team, which is tough to do, except you have the plus 60, and plus 80 speeds. That's interesting. I'm glad I checked that while we're in, folks. I need to fix that. Qui-Gon wants to go first, and then Ki-Adi, then Anakin. Now, Adrad, this team is in 3v3 very good on defense. You need Adrad and Jinn to work their magic. That's the core of the team. And then you want to tank preferably K2, just because he's so thick and he causes daze. He does some cool stuff. You can make do with another tank, but this team is very, very good on defense, folks. It just is in 3v3, 5v5. People are coming out with solutions to it. Especially, though, if you have the Datacron or the Omicron. Good to go, man. It's a good team on defense. Now, we get the big unveiling party. Is Darth Malgus actually good? After 3 months of using his, almost exclusively using his Datacron on defense, he's going to be on offense, and he doesn't have a cool Datacron anymore. So we'll see if his Omicrons are able to make up for that. We're going to be able to see some more nuanced play from people who use Malgus on offense and see if he's a viable offensive threat. But for now, I really like him on defense still, even though he's not destroying every single person with his Datacron and spamming his special. And then I like putting Darth Revan and Basti with them, at least for now. We may end up just putting a totally different team in at the end of the season. By the end of the season, I'm just being upfront with you guys. I'm not sure. We don't know what to expect from Malgus with Omicrons, so we can't test it, really. And no one was really willing to take their Datacron off. So, kind of in limbo right now, folks. Who knows what's going to happen? I expect this team might be good on offense, though, too. Or might be able to split off Darth, Revan, and Basti somewhere. Might be fancy of us. Now, the Starkiller team with Savage. Savage is real tanky. He's really tanky. And he's just tough to bring down. In 5v5, I had some success with this team as long as I could draw bounty hunters off. I'm not convinced that bounty hunters are a huge credible threat to this team, to be honest, guys. If they use Aura lead, I think that Savage is just going to pummel them to death pretty easily. Now, I mean, I guess with the new bounty hunter stuff, they have retribution and stuff with Aura lead, they may still be able to make a contract in time. I'm not really sure, but one way or another, Starkiller with Savage and his Omi is something I've been looking forward to a very long time, and I had some success in 3v3 with it. Again, like I said, as long as they didn't have bounty hunters available, which they never did, the way I positioned my defensive teams. But one way or another, our Starkiller, even in 5v5, got some holds. In 3v3, I think it's going to cause a lot more mayhem, to be honest. Okay, so because we're using those other two with Starkiller, we can actually then use EP Mara and TIE Fighter Pilot. can do some really crazy stuff, I think. Without a tank, they might be a little vulnerable, but if you make me or Mara pretty quick, and then once she goes, I mean, it just starts the chain, folks. It's off the chain. It's very cool. Remember, troopers will just gun this down if you don't have, if you don't have a really fast Mara Jade. Even if you do, sometimes you're not going to be fast enough. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Now we have the Inquisitors, and this team is very tough to get through, folks. This is very, very tough to get through. If you have them thinking, if you want 9th Sister, 7th Sister, and Grand Inquisitor, that's probably the ideal team. Some people will swap out 7th for 5th Brother, which is also probably acceptable, but I think 7th Sister's better. She has an unresistible ability block / daze, and she steals turn meter, which all very nice stuff, and of course 9th Sister's very thick. I would love to get more relics on this team, but I'm trying to hold off as long as I can so that I can make an unlock guide for all y'all when it comes around. Now with Sortie, I'd probably put this as a spoof. If you guys have enough money to have bought the 2 new murder droids, you can do that. Put the Omicrons on, and probably Sortie's the best option. Otherwise, Sortie's really good with most droids. BB-8, of course, is really nice because you get a bunch of bonus turn meter based on how many droids are on the team, and then R2-D2's nice. Just because if BB-8 does get to counter, if he gets to hit someone, then he'll have tenacity up and he'll call his resistance friend, R2-D2, who will then go and stun lock them, and then hopefully you can just take them out or something. This team is fairly close to me taking off of defense, to be honest, folks, but people don't like to, Nest is becoming a counter to Sortie squads in 3v3, and Nest doesn't like R2-D2 because she'll just get stunned all the time. So we'll see. We'll see how this build goes. To be clear though, as well, folks, this team is really good, and if you mod her for a ton of health, Wampa is going to a lot of times just time out on Sortie if people don't know what they're doing. Which all the people I'm facing lately do. More's the pity. Okay, so here's the Jedi Training Rey team. This is not really inspired by much. I mean, this dies to troopers, so this might not be the best version of the team, to be honest, guys. Jedi Training Rey, though, it's if you don't have troopers available, this team can actually start getting some crazy turn meter, and you just get blown totally off the board. And, I mean, this might be a better team on offense, frankly, but I really do like it sometimes on defense. They can steal a ton of banners at the very least, folks. So, in this case, you probably do want a fast resistance hero Finn. Some builds lately, you don't need a fast one at all, but for him, I think you do. Now, Nest doesn't necessarily need all of her babysitters, but it's nice to have that option for our for things. Now, this is on defense. I think maybe I just copied this team. I think it was on offense as well. So on defense, she does need her babysitters because she's not... You can't place a team with less than one, or with less than the max characters anyway, so... unless it's fleet. So Nest, really nice with Kira. If you guys go read the stuff. If you put the Grit Cron on her, also really nice. L3 is real thick. Really good. I'm very interested to see how this team does on defense sometimes, to be honest. Yes, Jedi Revan teams still melt Nest pretty good, but otherwise, sure, like Treya beats it. There's a lot of teams that beat it, but I think that with the Grit Cron, Nest becomes pretty ugly on defense, folks. Now, for the final teams, we have Luke and company. A lot of people check your opponent's offense and see if they use Bad Batch to kill Luke. If they do, try to find a way to boost your Commander Luke team. I mean, if you can give them a ton of tenacity and make it so that they're not stunnable, then the Bad Batch just wither and die really quick. It's over really fast. So just keep that in mind. If you can give them lots of tenacity, make it so that Bad Batch can't just one-shot them. Really cool stuff. A lot of tenacity from gear. Gear, of course, but from your modding. And then on top of that, a Datacron that has a bunch of tenacity as well, if you can find one. Finally, I decided to put Maul on just as a defensive ploy as well, just to show you guys if you're not going to put Maul with Lord Vader, which, you know, but mine is certainly going to go with Lord Vader for a little bit at least. But if he wants to do his own thing, just keep in mind, so Maul on defense probably wants Canderous, so that Canderous gains a bunch of turn meter after everything is, you know, starts moving. And then you just want a fast character to go with Maul so that you can get that really vital first turn. So, you know, so that Maul can do his AoE and then you get to go. So just keep in mind that this is on defense, and so you need someone who's fast. You need, like, I've recently just basically decommissioned my Droideka, but Droideka gets 50% extra speed. Keep that in mind. Moff Gideon is just very naturally fast, and then Wat Tambor, of course, takes his bonus turn before anyone else gets to go besides Luke. So, or besides Han. That being said, folks, I'm real tired. I'm gonna let you go. I hope this is a good rundown on the defenses. I mean, realistically, this is a very, very similar defense to what I'm going to be running, folks. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Would love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth goes to bed when he has a cold. Go watch my offense video too, guys. Hit the thumbs up button if you like it. All that. Take care.